Boxingego here. If you like this video, make sure you hit the like button and also subscribe to the channel and hit the bell icon on the top of your screen to get notified when the latest new content drops. 1. Do you want to know 6 things Kell Brook can do to defeat Errol Spence Jr.? If so, stay tuned to this video. What up, Fight World? It's your boy Ego, and I'm back with some more boxing. Make sure you smash the like button and subscribe to the channel. I'm back with Boxingego weapons, 6 things. And in case you're new to the channel, what this is, I give 6 things that I think Kell Brook or whatever fighter needs to do in order to defeat their upcoming challenge, their upcoming opponent. Now, this doesn't mean they will do them. This is just my opinion. This is not trying to step on the shoes of the trainer. I'm just giving you my thoughts on what they need to do, what they need to look out for, what they do. Some of the things they do already, some of the things they do well, some things they may not do, and I think they need to do. So without further ado, I'm going to give my list in no particular order and let you know 6 things that I believe Kell Brook needs to do to defeat Errol Spence Jr. If he can pull it off, that remains to be seen. Let's get started. Now, number 1, this is easy. Land early. Crowd participation. What I mean by that, this fight is happening May 27th in Kell Brook's backyard, Sheffield to be exact, in the UK, Bramall Lane. So, in my opinion, I think Kell Brook needs to land and get some respect early in this fight. You have a hot shot like Errol Spence Jr. He's feeling himself. He's been to the Olympics. He's been screaming #man down and looking for this opportunity. And there's a lot of people picking him, a lot of people riding for him. Floyd Mayweather, Freddie Roach, Adrian Broner, all these guys are vouching for this dude's talent. So to me, Kell Brook as a champion, he needs to land and get some respect earlier to let Errol Spence know, like, you're in for a long night. I'm not Chris Algieri, I'm not Leonard Bundu, or any of the guys, Phil LaGreco, any of those guys you previously faced. He needs to land early. And by doing this, to me, he gets the crowd on his side. It's his hometown crowd, and he wants it to be as loud and noisy. They have a football team there at Bramall Lane, and he wants it to be as crazy, chaotic, and hectic, and get Errol Spence Jr. as much out of his element. And it's going to be hard because this is a guy who's been to the Olympics, so he's fought on hostile territory. He's fought in London before, he's fought in the UK, and he's traveled with this boxing thing. So I think for this championship fight, IBF belt at stake, that's what Kell Brook needs to do. Land early, get that respect early, and get the crowd on your side so it causes him to have to think on the job, and he's second guessing and doubting himself. Number 2, the jab. Now, this is something that I've seen Kell Brook do, and Kell Brook do it well. He has a great jab, one of the best in the division, if not in boxing, when he applies it. I think this was evident in his fight with Shawn Porter. He had a piston-like jab. He was much taller looking than Shawn Porter when they fought. So the good thing that I like, that shows you the brain on Kell Brook, basically, right? It shows you he's a thinker in there. He's not just going to bomb you out, but he does have power that you have to respect at welterweight. You got to respect that power. But he's surgical, and he's trying to use any advantage, any inch that he has. And that was an important fight, the Shawn Porter fight, because he came across the pond just like Errol Spence is doing now, but it's just in reverse. Instead of coming to the US fighter is coming to the UK to fight the current IBF welterweight champion, which is Kell Brook. So it's kind of like a Freaky Friday. When he fought Shawn Porter, he had to come across the pond to the States and fight, and he had to fight smart because that was the reigning champion, and he was from the US, from Ohio, and he did it. And the thing I like about that is there's a lot of guys throughout boxing history who don't use their attributes. You look at Julio Cesar Chavez Jr., we just got off that fight with Canelo. He didn't use any of the attributes that would give him any shot to win. I don't know if he was trying to outbox Canelo. He's taller, much taller than Canelo, didn't use his height, and he kind of comes in with his head down, head low, giving up and negating his height. So it doesn't really make sense for tall fighters to not fight tall. That's a God-gifted. You can't control how tall you are. I know a lot of short dudes. I'm thankful thankful to the Lord that I'm tall. But I know a lot of short dudes, and they're like, man, where'd you get your height from? I wish I was taller. You know what I mean? It's kind of a complex thing. So Kell Brook has a good size frame for the division, and you need to use that. You need to use any, in this type of fight, this is a pick'em fight, 50-50 fight, and you need to use any type of advantage you can, whether it's crowd reaction and participation, if it's a subtle height advantage, which Errol Spence looked a little bit taller than him. But again, you don't have to be a certain height to jab. Anybody can jab. You can have T-Rex arms and jab. It'll be harder possibly just to connect from point A to B, but you can still do it, and you just have to stick with it, pump out a fluid jab. And I think Kell Brook has power at welterweight, so his jab is a meaningful punch. It's not just, there's different types of jabs. There's an up jab, there's a rangefinder jab, different stuff like that. Just do all of them. Throw as many jabs as you can. Another thing that Errol Spence Jr., we all know that he does well in his previous fights, is he tries to bully you, especially to the guts. He'll go to that body. He's a body snatcher. So to prevent that, you got to give him something to disrupt and think twice about. And the jab is a forgotten tool in the sport of boxing. I mean, if someone's trying to encroach and get in close, that's what you do. You know what I mean? It's just like in football, when a running back's running and someone's trying to tackle him and strip the ball out of him, what do? They stiff arm. You know what I mean? But in boxing, you can't hold your arm out there, but you can still hit him with the, you know what I mean, a quick jab. So that's definitely a tool, a weapon for Kell Brook that he showed in the past, and he needs to show it versus Errol Spence Jr. Stop some of that pressure, and an effective jab will make anyone reconsider. Number 3, movement. Kell Brook has a good set of legs. He doesn't always, if he's fighting JoJo Dan, he might not always show you that, but he does have a good set of legs and just overall a solid defense. He's slicker than some people give him credit for, and it was evident in the Gennady Golovkin fight. After round 2, he got hurt in round 1. Let's be clear. He jumped up 2 weight divisions, fought a bigger man, stronger man, got hurt in round 1. That woke him up and woke his game up. And in round 2, you've seen Kell Brook fight with some tenacity, and he fought with a different type of fire because he knew this was no joke. That was his alarm clock. You know what I mean? You can no longer hit the snooze button. And in round 2, he did some great work versus the bigger, stronger Golovkin, current champion, undefeated champion Golovkin. And he was landing some nasty shots that rocked Golovkin's head up. But part of what kept him safe was his defense and movement. And again, people keep saying that, oh, Errol Spence, if Golovkin didn't drop him or stop him, then that means that Kell Brook can't get stopped or dropped by Errol Spence. I personally don't agree with that. I don't think that's true. I think styles make the fights, and he had a long layoff. He's coming back down in weight, things like that. So it's a different fight. Plus, he already took whatever punishment he took from a bigger man in Gennady Golovkin. That's no excuse. If Errol Spence Jr. wins fair and square, then he wins fair and square. Same thing with Kell Brook, right? Whoever wins this is a good fight still. But he has to keep that in mind. And I do think Errol Spence has the power to stop or hurt really any guy at welterweight with the right game plan. So I think Kell Brook needs to use some of that movement and kind of just keep Errol Spence out of position to land, or where he has to constantly reset. While meanwhile you're picking him up, you're landing good pot shots and kind of circling him, make him burn up some energy. Because the other thing is, Errol Spence Jr., although he's been here before in terms of he's traveled with the Olympics, he has an amateur pedigree and things like that, and he seems confident. I think most fighters going up for a title shot, they're going to have some level of jitters, whether they can hide it good or not. You know what I mean? It's just, it comes with, it's kind of human nature. Now, again, some fighters are better than others at suppressing it, but I think every fighter will feel it. And between the crowd participation, a good jab, using some movement, make Errol Spence burn more energy than is necessary. And that's going to hurt Errol Spence during the stretch. If he's can't get to you, that's how frustration grows. You know what I mean? Look at Floyd when he moves on guys, right? And I'm not saying Kell Brook moves like Floyd. I'm just saying when Floyd moves against guys and he's picking them off and they can't do nothing with his defense, then they grow frustrated and they grow tired. It's hard chasing a guy, plus getting punched, plus you can't handle them when they're in front of your face. So it's just like they're giving you so many looks. I think movement should definitely be part of the plan for a style like Errol Spence coming at you. You know what I mean? Give him some different looks. If you want to sit there and trade, I think that's more so benefits Errol Spence's style. If you want to just sit there and trade, and I mean, even they said that at the press conference, he was like, "Don't run. All right, sit there in the pocket then." You know what I mean? And even though Kell Brook is like, "All right, okay," and agreed to that, he shouldn't do that. And this is just, again, my thoughts on what is needed to win. Number 4, shoot the uppercut. Like the Chappelle show, when he said, when it was Prince, "Shoot the J, shoot it." Kell Brook needs to shoot the uppercut. Land that punch. I don't care if you're orthodox, I don't care if you're southpaw, I don't care if you're Terrence Crawford and you're ambidextrous, I don't care if you're bulimic, it doesn't matter. A sneaky uppercut is a punch that is hard to prepare for anybody. We've seen somebody who actually has trained with Kell Brook before, or with Errol Spence, and that's the Jamal Charlo. He landed a nice sneaky counter uppercut, very sneaky, and it dropped his opponent, Julian J. Rock Williams. Uppercut is another. We used to see greats like Tyson. He was a master explosive uppercut. Guys' whole heads getting rocked back like they're, you know what I mean, like they're washing their face and coming out the water or something, washing their hair. So it's a dangerous punch because a lot of times you don't see it coming, especially a guy like Errol Spence. He kind of has his guard up high, and sometimes that can blind. It's just like driving. When you're driving a car, you have blind spots. If you're on the freeway, it's a 4-lane freeway, and you're trying to merge over to the lane to the left of you, and you're not looking in your mirrors, you don't turn over your shoulder and look, there might be a semi or a small truck or something you don't see or hear that's already in that lane. So, you know what I mean? That's why you have to be cautious, because it's a blind spot. And the uppercut, Kell Brook has a nasty uppercut. We've seen it in the Golovkin fight. Great uppercut that he utilizes. He needs to utilize it against this aggressive southpaw. Again, make him think twice and make his head rock up and stuff like that. That'll be something that discourages. Now, again, I don't know if these fighters can do what I'm saying. This is just what I think they should do. And I like Kell Brook's uppercut. And it's a forgotten punch. We just recently seen Anthony Joshua destroy. And props to Vladimir Klitschko. That motherfucker took a shot. That Joshua uppercut was nasty. And Klitschko, he ate it. He got stopped shortly after that, but he didn't even get knocked down from that initial shot. So I give him props. He must have been in tremendous shape. So we've seen the resurgence of the uppercut with guys like even Edeslandi Lara. I think he got Yuri Foreman out in that fight. Even though it was Yuri Foreman, we expected him to win. I think he set it up with the uppercut. Jamal Charlo with the uppercut. Anthony Joshua with the uppercut. Kell Brook is athletic enough to do it, you know what I mean, at welterweight. Even though he's coming back down to weight, he showed a great uppercut in the Golovkin fight. So, and he maintained that snap and speed. To me, I thought he hurt Golovkin. Golovkin's not going to admit it, but I thought he hurt him. Definitely woke him up, because Golovkin came out like a madman. And like I said earlier, the movement and the defense, that's the only thing that kept Kell Brook on his feet, is because some of those shots were just barely missing, but you could tell Golovkin was pissed and trying to steamroll him and use his power and size advantage, but he wasn't connecting flush with all those shots in that second round, third round, or whatever it was. So use the uppercut. Number 5, clinch. Just like I said, they had this pact at the press conference, don't run and all that. You got to do what you got to do to win, and clinching is part of boxing. You don't want to overly clinch to the point where you get a point deducted, but against a guy, if you need to suppress that attack, that Errol Spence pressure that he's so good at doing, then clinch. You know what I mean? Don't be machismo and like, yeah, I'm not. You know what I mean? If he hurts you, just lose the round. Floyd Mayweather, that's why I give Floyd props, man. He's a smart, intelligent fighter. Shane Mosley, pop, cracked him in the second round and hurt him a second time. He clinched for dear life. That's what you do. You know what I mean? And some people are like, oh, look at Floyd. Look at how he had to clinch. Yeah, but look how he went to dominate Shane Mosley once he was no longer discombobulated, and once he regained his wits and senses about himself, he went on to destroy Shane Mosley and beat him every single round after. So it's just like the old saying goes, live to fight another day, right? So if you got to clinch, you got to clinch, and I don't think this should be a pissing contest, because some guys are just better at certain things, like Canelo. He's great if you're on the inside. So if you have to do like Lada and use some movement on him to give yourself a better chance, then that's kind of what you have to do. It doesn't make sense to just stand in the wheelhouse and trade with him. You'll get destroyed. You've seen what happened to James Kirkland, right? We know what style of fight Errol Spence brings. So you got to bow down. And if he's better at that inside work than you, then you got to clinch if needed. And Kell Brook showed he wasn't too proud to beg and too proud to clinch in the Sean Porter fight. Sean Porter's another guy. He's a dog. He finds a way, somehow, some way, the altitude chamber or whatever he's doing, training in the mountains, he's rugged. And Berto, you look at that fight, the contrast, Kell Brook fight versus Sean Porter versus Berto. Sean Porter was the same fighter in both of those fights. Like I didn't really see a totally different Sean Porter. Like he didn't just get on his toes and do the Muhammad Ali shuffle or anything. It was pretty much the same Sean Porter that we know time in and time out. And hey, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. I feel the same thing with Golovkin. I don't really see tons of crazy different improvements and stuff from fight to fight, but it's working. He's still knocking guys out, minus Daniel Jacobs, and still winning with that style. So with Sean Porter, you notice the difference. You have to find a way to tame that, and Kell Brook did that with the jab. You got to cut early, stayed calm. Berto didn't really stay calm to me, right? He was on the ropes and he just like bothered and looking to the ref. And you can't do that because Sean Porter's just working. He doesn't care if you're complaining, if you're bleeding, if he's bleeding. Oh well, you know what I mean? And Kell Brook, I loved his level of composure versus Sean Porter because Sean Porter brought the same fight. If not, it might have even been more intense because when Kell Brook fought him, he was undefeated. You know what I mean? Versus when he fought Berto, that was after the Brook loss and that was after the Keith Thurman kind of contested loss, but he still lost on paper, right? You know what I mean? So Kell Brook fought the champion Sean Porter. You know what I mean? His confidence had a bit high. He had beat up on Devin Alexander. He had rectified the Julio Diaz draw and rematched him. So, you know what I mean? Sean Porter's confidence, it was at an all-time high. And Kell Brook found a way to suppress that attack. And that's smart. That's very smart. Same thing with Errol Spence. I don't think Errol Spence comes in like Sean Porter. I think he comes in more methodical, more planned out, and more technical. But either way, he still puts on pressure. Guys just do it different, you know what I mean? But pressure is pressure. Pressure busts pipes. Pressure creates diamonds, you know what I mean? And this fight is going to determine what it is for Kell Brook, what that pressure is going to do, you know what I mean? Unless Errol Spence just comes out and tries to box him. But coming to the UK and fighting hostile territory, if you try to win without anything flashy, without big shots being landed, and you have too measured of an approach, then I see you losing to the champion because you're on his ground. He's the champion. So I really feel like Errol Spence is going to do like he normally does and provide that aggression. He's just going to do it as intelligent as possible. Clinch, 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 clinch. If you need to clinch, you gotta do it. And finally, number 6, forget the Triple G loss. Remain confident. Now, it's easier said than done. Some of you guys might not understand why that's number 6. And it's number 6 because you're fighting back-to-back killers. You know what I mean? Guys with power, guys with amateur Olympic backgrounds. Triple G's a silver medalist, and Errol Spence went to the Olympics. So they both have punching power. They're both technically, you know what I mean? They do a lot of technically sound things, especially offensively, right? And then this one's a southpaw. On top of that, and he's younger, and he's in your division, and you're coming back down. So to me, I think Kell Brook needs to forget all about the Triple G loss, the eye injury. You know what I mean? Don't let that stuff plague you, hold you back, or worry you. Like, oh man, my eye. You know what I'm saying? You can't really worry about that because just like I said with Berto Porter, I was at that fight. I covered that fight live. Fighters aren't worried. If anything, that gives them strength and gives them momentum. You know what I mean? They're not worried, oh, he's bothered. There's no timeouts in boxing unless the referee or somebody or a doctor calls the timeout. But the fighters can't do it unless I think Nonito Donaire did versus Siempre Vicheca or whatever. But for the most part, there is no timeouts. You know what I mean? And from the fighter's standpoint. So he needs to forget about that. If the going gets tough, he's in the trenches. Just try to eliminate that as much as possible out of his memory because that was a loss. And if the going gets tough, you got to remain confident, because Errol Spence is not going to be worried nothing about that. You know what I mean? He's going to be come in, seek, and destroy, similar to Golovkin. I'm not saying Golovkin and Spence fight exactly alike. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying they hit as hard, but they're both aggressive. They're both amateur standouts and guys with amateur pedigrees, and they're both going to try to seek and destroy you. That's what they've showed us. So he needs to forget his loss, come in confident like he's been when he was fighting Jojo Dan and Frankie Bizier and Sean Porter, Carson Jones rematch, Sinchenko. He just needs to be confident and let the past stay the past, because if you let that stuff diminish your confidence, from what I've seen in the build-up, Errol Spence, his confidence is not diminished. He's like, oh, ain't no time for talking. Talking's done. Man down. Strap season. So if we got one guy in there who's uber confident and you're not doing nothing to take his confidence away, and you're not as confident because you're lost and you're coming off a layoff and your eye and you're worried about too much, it's not going to be a good look. So those are the 6 things that I think basically Kell Brook needs to do in order to beat Errol Spence Jr. Will he be able to do it? We will find that out May 27th. It will be on Showtime. It will be on Sky Sports in the UK. I'm looking forward to it. It's a great fight. Make sure you guys hit the like button and subscribe. I'm trying to give you guys the specials again and not take too long in doing them. So I had to get this one out because this is a fight I'm anticipating. Again, like and subscribe. Much more coming. Make sure you share the video, like the video as always. Hate, comment, and subscribe. Till next video is Ego signing off. So if you enjoyed this video and want more content like this on the channel, you can show your appreciation by going to the PayPal donate button or the YouTube support button, and you can donate any amount that you feel is equivalent to the value of this video. Much more to come. Thank you guys for your support. Boxingego, the future of boxing.